Welcome to Tonikaku Kawaii Chapter 169, brought to you by user / when I'm having this group of friends. Thank you very much. They also posted an extra 3 chapters, so I have my work cut out, so let's just jump right into it. Our story starts off with a backstory about Shiori's name, alright? So, apparently, it seems that Tsukasa-chan was the person to name Shiori, right? And Tokiko, this time alive, is kind of confused, right? So she decides to explain herself. Basically, you know, Shiori is kind of just like a fun and cheeky way to end off a story just like that, right? You know, it doesn't matter how long or complicated it was, right? And, you know, Tsukasa-chan, she realizes that, yeah, some readers would be pissed, right? And she's like, but, you know, it's perfectly fine to be excited about a series, but, you know, maybe you should calm down every once in a while and, you know, think of other things, right? Now, it doesn't really make too much sense for, you know, Shiori's, like, name, I guess, but I think it has a deeper meaning to it, alright? I think you know, it's kind of like a message to Tokiko, right? Because I believe at this time, things were probably going well, right? You know, with the whole space moon thing, right? Tsukasa-chan was probably losing hope, and, you know, since Tokiko got a daughter now, you know, that was going to make things harder, right? So, it seems that maybe Tsukasa-chan, you know, decided to become at peace with herself, and, you know, decided maybe going to the moon, not the best of ideas, and, you know, was kind of gonna let Tokiko just relax, you know, live out her life and stuff. Granted, that's just what I think of it. You can think whatever you want. You can think, oh, that's just a cool origin for the name, right? But that's what I think, and let's move on. So we cut to modern-ish times for Shiori, alright? So, you know, she kind of doesn't remember a lot about her dad, alright? Like, when I mean not a lot, I mean barely any. The only thing she remembers about her dad is the fact that, you know, he got a Japanese funeral, right? And that she's also half Japanese, right? That's all she knows, right? Now, that doesn't really matter right now, okay? So, Shiori, she grew up with Tokiko, right? You know, she's rich and all of that, right? Shiori, she kind of doesn't like that in general, right? To the point where, you know, she got into arguments with Tokiko over the fact that, you know, they're rich, right? And she didn't like the fact that, you know, they were rich. She wanted to work from the bottom to the top. You know, weird things. I know, right? It's just whatever, okay? So, you know, she decides to get into painting, right? She really likes this artist that may or may not have made the most influential pieces of Japanese art in the entirety of the world, you know? It's typical stuff like that, right? So, you know, she decides to paint, right? And that's kind of what she likes now. And then suddenly, you know, Tsukasa-chan, she decides to walk in and, you know, starts, I guess, talking to Shiori a little about her art, right? You know, she starts complimenting her, right? So a beautiful thing about this series is that you get to tell about some random parts of Japanese history. It's pretty cool in my opinion, alright? So, Tsukasa-chan, she knew of, you know, she's praising Shiori. She's like, oh, you're fantastic. You're gonna become the next best thing, right? You know, Tokiko walks in and she's like, how do you know that my daughter's gonna become, like, you know, the next best author, right? I mean, artist, right? So, Tsukasa-chan, basically, she explains that she once met a kid, a prodigy, if you will, alright? His name was, Takitoru, alright? Hopefully I'm saying these names correctly. I apologize. So, you know, putting his name up on Google, you get redirected to the Hokusai Wikipedia page, alright? You know, you probably don't know who he is, alright? But, you know, he made a pretty infamous piece of art, you know, the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Now, if you still don't know what I'm referring to, I am referring to the Big Blue Wave, alright? One of the most famous... one of the most famous things to ever come out of Japan, apart from anime, hentai, and some other things that, you know, a lot of people don't really talk about. Oh, God, it seems like something got into my system, right? So, fun fact, that painting was made with wood engravings, alright? From France, alright? And that also kind of leads back into our story, right? So, you know, Tokiko's, you know, she's kind of questioning Tsukasa-chan, right? You know, she's like, did you have something to do with the fact that, you know, he got these wood engravings, right? Because apparently it was also pretty, you know, just the norm when it came to art in Japan at this time, 17th to 18th century, you know, do you know that type of art, right? So, you know, she's like, I don't know, maybe, perhaps, right? But, like, you know, she's like, but, you know, I did have to work with the Meiji Restoration, right? Because, fun fact as well, Tsukasa-chan worked for, you know, she became, like, you know, she was working with, like, with the Meiji dude, right? You know, they were doing the Meiji Restoration, all that fun hickory doo-doo, whatever, right? You know, and then we kind of cut into Shiori, right? And she's like, I have absolutely no idea who this person is. And, like, you know, she's just like, who are you again? So we cut more into the future, right? So, you know, Shiori has been living with Tsukasa-chan now for quite a bit, right? You know, Tokiko would explain to Shiori that, oh, don't worry about her. She's family, right? Shiori, she don't believe it. She don't believe it one bit, alright? So, you know, Shiori and Tsukasa-chan would just normally just live their lives together, right? They would play Super Mario Brothers, you know, the original Super Mario Brothers, you know, on the SNES, right? So, fun fact also as well, Tsukasa-chan, she could never get past she could never get past level 4 on the first world, right? Now I had to search this up because I'm not exactly too much into the whole Mario universe thing, but it's actually the I think the first time you fight Bowser. So yeah, no, that says a lot about Tsukasa-chan. If she cannot beat the first level, the fourth level, the first time they fight Bowser, yeah, that kind of says something about her, right? And, you know, Tsukasa-chan, she also slept during the day, you know, just on the floor, right? Shiori, she kind of didn't see Tsukasa-chan in, like, a great light, right? You know, because she thought she was a very trashy person, right? But, you know, that all changed after some time. So Tsukasa-chan, you know, talks to Shiori more, you know, she's like, what are your dreams in life, you know? So, you know, Shiori, she says that, oh, you know, she kind of wants to study into Japanese art, right? You know, Tsukasa-chan, she's like, oh, God bless, because, like, you know, apparently Tokiko was really bad when it came to drawing. Granted, she was studying science, so, you know, priorities, people, right? So, you know, Shiori's dream is to graduate in, you know, high school, right? Study art, you know, she wants to go into Tokyo, right, and to, you know, study at the big art university there, right? You know, and, you know, Tsukasa-chan's like, you know, that's a pretty respectable dream, right? And, you know, Shiori decides to ask her, you know, but what's your dream, right? You know, what's your dream, Tsukasa-chan? Now, you know, Tsukasa-chan, she's like, you know, I did have a dream, and then it just never really worked out, right? So then kind of Shiori starts assuming, oh, she probably messed something up, or, right, you know, she's like, oh, great, fantastic, she fucked herself, right? Tsukasa-chan, you know, she gets a little mad at her, you know, she's like, oh, no, it's not like that, right? So she's apparently just taking a break, you know, from her goal, right? You know, that's why she's talking to Shiori, of course, duh. So, you know, she decides, Tsukasa-chan, you know, after a while, decides to ask her another question, right? You know, has Shiori ever thought of, you know, going to get a husband, right? Now, Shiori's response is like, you know, that's kind of an old-fashioned response, right? You know, it kind of sounds like you're an old fossil, right? Very funny, Hada. Very meta, right? But, you know, that kind of gets Tsukasa-chan a little mad, you know? She's like, oh, no, I'm not old, you know, I don't know what you mean, right? You know, and Shiori's like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, no, alright, let's keep it at that, right? So we cut now into the present, right? You know, it's been a while since all of this has happened, right? You know, Shiori now thinks Tsukasa-chan is like, you know, a lot more, right? You know, she feels like, you know, Tsukasa-chan realized that, you know, Shiori isn't going to be the one that's going to help her out, you know, with her moon, right? So that's why she decided, you know, bother with Shiori's dreams, right? Also, you know, Shiori, you know, didn't really interact a lot with Chitose. You know, she didn't really like her, right? And maybe that's why, you know, she was gonna make, she maybe also felt kind of jealous at her, you know, because, you know, she was really, you know, Chitose is really smart, right? But, you know, she's like, but then she starts thinking more about Tsukasa-chan and, you know, NASA, right? You know, she's like, maybe NASA is going to be the one that's gonna, you know, solve Tsukasa-chan's dream, right? Because, you know, slowly and surely over the age, Tsukasa-chan, you know, decided to tell Shiori about her dream, right? You know, and she also talks about the fact that, you know, Tokiko's, you know, Shiori has never heard Tokiko ever say, you know, someone was intelligent, right? Before, you know, NASA came along, right? So apparently NASA, you know, was the first person to ever be told that, you know, they were intelligent by Tokiko. So, you know, that's a cool, you know, fun fact of the day, right? And we cut to NASA, you know, getting ready with Tsukasa-chan now because NASA has a car license and is renting a car, not actually buying one, because, that was a translation error and on my part too, because, you know, whatever, right? So, you know, they're gonna go to the mansion where Tsukasa-chan used to live. And that's where the chapter ends off. Really nice. It's more just, more backstory. I mean, A majority of these modern chapters now have been getting into the backstory area, and personally, I'm fine with that, really. This has been chapter 169. I still don't know how to end videos. Hopefully you did enjoy this, and, yeah, goodbye.